When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The podcast that's not delivery, it's a horror, no?
What? Oh, no. Okay.
That's a weird little roller coaster you went on.
Yeah. I love pizza, and I love sex, and I love puns I don't understand. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality.
It wasn't that deep. It wasn't too
deep dish.
Too deep to much to comprehend there. Though my intros don't have too many layers.
Today, we're smelling good.
Podcasts are the best venue to talk about smell.
Right.
We're going to talk about fragrances.
We're going to talk about fragrances, but first,
some news.
I love the head nod where the music goes.
Music, cue, now.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Okay, so news. The first. Do you know where Irving, Texas is?
In Texas.
Have you been there?
I don't think so. No, I don't know where it is.
I'm just wondering how Texas is it?
Oh, I'm a bad person. Where is it? Is it?
I don't know.
Is it outside?
That's why I'm asking you, Kyle.
No, I don't know.
Hundreds of students have marched out of school in protest after a lesbian teacher was allegedly secretly escorted off campus. And all of these safe space stickers in the entire school were removed by administrators.
Wow.
Yeah. MacArthur High School in Irving, Texas on this last Wednesday, the 22nd of September, is just a big mass walkout. And Rachel Stonecipher, an English teacher and sponsor of the campus's Gay Straight Alliance, spoke to DFW News and said, quote, "I was freaked. The kids were freaked out. I was a little scared, too, because I'm the only openly, very obviously gay teacher, lesbian teacher." Like, I love when somebody just owns how lesbian they are.
Yeah.
So...
Like, one of our listeners replied to us or said something that was like, "Just so you know, I am a giant bull dyke." And it's like, I was like, "Oh, you fit in so well with who we are." And what,
Yep. So... I don't know the order is a little confusing to me, the way that this article was written. This came from Pink News. And apparently all of these safe space stickers started disappearing. And then
not a safe space, they're trying to make clear.
Okay. This is your bullshit is bullshit, fuckers. So Stonecipher, this lesbian teacher, was part of a group of teachers that emailed asking for an explanation. And a staff memo from the new principal said the school wanted, quote, "to set a different tone this year. The district's position is that our responsibility is to make campuses a safe zone for all students, not just in our classrooms, but on every inch of our campus." It's all
lives matter.
All students matter. Yeah. Is there like fucking horseshit? God damn it! It pisses me off so much. Okay.
Except let's keep doing like active shooter drills. You're safe unless someone decides they want to open carry a fucking gun.
Yep. So then apparently a bunch of students got asked in for long drawn out interrogations that lasted upwards of 45 minutes, including sophomore Alyssa Harbin. In that interrogation, of which there were several, apparently, not of her, but like several students, they said that, quote, "she was assured that she hadn't done anything wrong, but the students who were questioned appeared to have one thing in common. All of these randomly selected people have been to at least one Gay Straight Alliance meeting."
What were they interrogating them about?
They were interrogated about this teacher's conduct, and then she fucking disappeared. She just was marched off campus and never heard from again.
I mean, she's alive, right?
She's alive.
Okay,
I don't think. I mean, we could start that rumor.
I mean, they didn't take her out, did they?
I mean, it's Texas. I don't know. I don't know how they roll. How they roll. I mean, I do know how they roll, and it's not good. But yeah. So let's see. This teacher. Oh, no. It's Stonecipher. The lesbian teacher is the one. I don't know why I got the... Anyway, sorry. What is my deal today? this teacher, this lesbian teacher that's been giving all the quotes, was the one that got marched off campus.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay, great. I didn't know if I'm unclear to me, but if it makes sense to you, then great. Let's keep doing the show.
It's the opposite of how it should be.
But yeah, so they did a bunch of random interrogations of students, that all of which had been to the GSA meetings, of which this teacher was the leader, and they were asking a bunch of questions about her, what she was saying, her conduct, and then she was escorted off campus. And the district said in a statement, quote, "To ensure that all students feel safe regardless of background or identity, the district has developed guidelines to ensure that posters, banners, and stickers placed in classrooms, hallways, or offices are curriculum-driven and neutral in viewpoint." And then when they were asked about this specific teacher's removal, they told CBS 11, quote, "Teachers shall not use the classroom to transmit personal beliefs regarding political or sectarian issues." So she was let go because of shit that these students told her ostensibly in confidence in a GSA meeting. And yeah. I
mean, education, even if you're not explicitly stating, here are my political beliefs, what you teach people is inherently political. And the idea of making it neutral, in effect, makes it so it is anti-LGBT. Mm-hmm. There is no neutral viewpoint, because either you ignore it, you diminish it, like, you know, there's no neutral way to discuss LGBT issues.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway.
Did you say the students did a walkout or something?
Students did a big walkout, yeah, which is happening more and more in all across the U.S. In recent times. Quite often, the walkouts that get the most attention are ones at like Christian high schools, private high schools that have religious affiliation of some kind. But yeah, hundreds of students walked out last week and have been calling for... so many students walked out of school that Irving police were called to the campus. The school told Irving Weekly that it was aware of the walkout and ensured that all students are safe, which I don't know if that's even a little bit true. What's that whole thing about, like, some prisons keep things out and some prisons are to keep people inside, but some are to keep things out? Anyway. The cops show up, it's to keep the students safe, or is it to keep them from fucking leaving because they're intimidated by the cops that are standing on their goddamn campus? Yes, Dan.
Just wanted to clarify that Irving is just outside Dallas in Texas.
I think I have a friend who lives in Irving.
Great. Anyway, good for you students for walking out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Damn the man. Fuckers are everywhere. And to that quote, very lesbian teacher, or whatever it was she said, openly, very obviously gay teacher, I hope justice is served there. Yeah. But it probably won't be. Okay, news the second.
Great.
So this just happened today. Yesterday? Time was weird. The time cave is weird. The country of Switzerland has voted overwhelmingly in favor of same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, which... Doesn't that kind of seem like a place that it would have already happened?
Yeah, it does. It does. It really does. I was surprised to hear this.
Yep. So 64% to 35% or 36%. I can subtract from 100. Voted in favor of allowing same-sex couples to marry. And every single one of Switzerland's 26 cantons, which is basically the same as states, voted in favor of same-sex marriage. The region that came closest to tipping into no territory was Appenzell Innerrhoden, where only 50% and some change voted in favor of marriage equality, but all of them voted for it. Wow. The landslide vote will bring Switzerland in line with other countries in Western Europe where same-sex marriage has increasingly become the norm in recent years. You think of like Switzerland and they're like, oh, they're neutral.
Yeah.
So you think that would mean that they would also be like non-religious or... have more permissive views about things like gender and sexuality, but apparently not. They're like kind of behind. Yeah.
It's also like I was thinking about this on the way over because I saw someone posted it to our Facebook group, and it's like I hate that voting, like popular voting on the rights of minorities, just even if it goes our way, it's like the only reason we do that is when we know we have like a majority that can win, or at least that's when we push for it. But like, it still sucks that that's even a thing. Like, you should not be able to vote on whether I have the same rights as everyone.
Sure.
It should just be like the rule.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you philosophically, but like, it's got to happen somehow.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So it just still doesn't feel great. It's not like, oh, they did. And then also you say like 60 something percent. So it's like, cool. 2/3 of people think I should be equal. Like it's just never the resounding, like, this is amazing kind of thing. I don't want to diminish it for, people who live there. Surely that's a huge moment. Just like, yeah, I get that it's really important, but there's always just a tinge of shittiness to me when these things happen.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And yeah, thanks to like gerrymandering and shit like that, though, sometimes legislative bodies are way behind what the general population thinks, right? Like something like it might be 2/3 would vote in favor of same-sex marriage, but it couldn't get through whatever the legislature was, because of the way that shit is fucked So conservatives in Switzerland had focused on LGBT plus parents in the lead up to the referendum with posters that showed pictures of crying children, because nothing makes kids cry more than dudes getting married to each other. Religious figures also had argued that children had a right to a mother and a father, and claimed that the referendum, if passed, would deprive children of that right. Fuck you.
Which is why if one parent dies, then like I want to introduce this bill, like if a opposite gender couple, if one parent dies, you will be forcibly married to another person because you are required to have a mother and father, right? Isn't that what we're saying?
Yep.
That child is going to be harmed. Yep. That child is going to be irreparably harmed, and they need both the only two genders that are out there to exist. Like, to it's stupid. It's just a stupid idea that denigrates so many parents. And
yep, I concur. It's also interesting how fucking long shit takes. Like, I don't know. We've seen this over and over again when queer people make some sort of a victory legally, but then it takes for fucking ever for it to actually happen. People won't actually be allowed to marry. Same-sex couples will not be actually allowed to marry in Switzerland until July of 2022. So get to planning that wedding.
They got to like change the form to be like, spouse and spouse instead of gendered,
I guess,
options. I don't know.
I guess. And we went through a similar thing in Washington State. The 11,500 couples in Switzerland who are currently in legal civil partnerships will be allowed to either maintain their current status or have it converted into a marriage. But probably not both. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Congrats, Switzerland.
Yay.
Welcome to the 2010s, I guess. I don't know. And news the last. My favorite news story of the week. You know which one it is, right?
No.
Actress, comedian, writer, and singer Cassandra Peterson, best known for her iconic alter ego Elvira,
yes,
has revealed more than just a teaser from her new memoir. She has been in a same-sex relationship for 19 years with her assistant, Teresa T. Weirson. Yeah, do you know Elvira?
I know of her. I don't know that I've ever seen a... She's the mom in the Addams Family, right?
Yes.
I just died a little bit.
So Elvira became a household name with the 80s TV show Movie Macabre. The syndicated show featured Elvira lounging about a crypt-inspired set and introducing schlocky horror movies with corny jokes.
And boobs out.
And just legit, like, straight guys our dad's age fucking love her. And the fact that they've been getting boners over a like full-on same-sex involved person just makes me so super duper happy. Yes.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
How's your head?
Great.
Oh, I figured you guys wouldn't know.
What?
There's a very famous line that originated from Elvira that RuPaul made very famous, which is like asking someone, how's your head? Like they're hurt their head or whatever. And the response is, haven't had any complaints so far.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Great.
Nope.
Nope. All
Nope.
right.
Oh. Yeah, queer Elvira.
That like queer people were just rejoicing. We talk about how like icons, there's so many straight icons. So when a queer icon like is actually queer, it's just like it's amazing.
Yep, absolutely.
And I saw someone on Twitter say like, honestly, to be the woman dating Elvira and not say anything for all this time is like someone give her an award.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there are no secrets, right? But Should we start that rumor that lesbians are good at keeping secrets?
Ooh, they keep them all in their bushes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the news.
Speaking of people whose bushes we want to thank the following Patreon members: Genderful, which I love. Yeah,
Is that just one name, or is that
that's one name, all lowercase if that's important to them.
Okay.
Marcus Haynes,
sure?
Colton's even sexier younger brother.
Wait till we get our Hanes on your floor.
Jarrett Garrett,
Nailed it.
Spencer Whitewood Barnes,
Great.
and Curtis Roderick. So thank you to everyone who, I think we're almost caught up, we're getting close. Thank you to everyone who supports us. At the lowest level, you get early access to episodes. So if you were a Patreon member, you'll be listening to this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Others have to wait all the way till Thursday, and you get ad-free episodes. So that's just the basic level. And we have a Patreon happy hour coming up soon, so you get quarterly happy hours with all of us where we hang out and talk, and it's fun.
Yep.
So join patreon.com/Gayish podcast for that and more.
Yep. Absolutely. Do it.
Do it.
So this episode, fragrances. If you are a Gap Bridger, which is our highest tier of support for at least 3 months, then you get to produce your own episode. So we sit down and have a chat and agree on a thing. And this was actually Thomas B's suggestion.
Yep. So yeah, fragrances. Yeah. So I don't think we've talked anything about fragrances. So this is it's an interesting topic, especially in the gay world. And
Yeah. I mean, the armpits episode was not about fragrances, but
it wasn't not about fragrances either. So I was not on that. So I'll get to dip into a little bit of that.
Yeah, get in
as
there.
well. I'll get my nose right up in there. But do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say it then. Fine.
I do.
The history of perfume. So, probably not surprising. There's evidence that suggests that we've been doing this a very, very, very long time. In India, perfume and perfumery existed as early as 3300 BC. So, forever and ever and ever ago. And it's interesting to me that, well, first of all, I'm going to talk about Taputi. Taputi, what? You think it sounds like a euphemism for something?
It's the fragrance that smells like a fart.
Yeah. Taputi Belliticalum is the earliest known chemist that ever existed. They're considered to be the world's first recorded chemist. Mentioned in a cuneiform tablet dated around 1200 BC in Babylonian Mesopotamia, and she used flowers, oil, and calamus, along with cypress, myrrh, and balsam to... she added water and other solvents and then distilled and filtered it several times. And it's also the oldest referenced still, which is where you distill liquids into stronger concentrations. Anyway, the first chemist ever was a chick. Like, we think of history and scientific history as being male dominated, and most big contributions are penises only club or whatever. and she is considered to be the world's first recorded chemist.
Feminists love when you call them chicks.
Well, yeah,
they'll be so excited.
Yeah. Well, I am who I am.
Did you know bitches were first?
Right, yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yep. I'm also starting the rumor that she was a lesbian.
Oh.
Yeah. Because,
Why?
well, first, because she got shit done.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And second, she was an overseer at the royal palace and had a researcher that she worked with whose name, unfortunately, the first part of her name has been lost, but she had a researcher named something Ninu. And I just, in my head now, they're this like super power lesbian duo just that ran shit and made potions.
This sounds like Elvira style, like the assistant that like they fall in love and they're like just kind of secret lesbians.
Yep.
I could see that.
Yep. So,
and she smelled great, so how could you resist?
Smelled fantastic. Absolutely. So that's Taputi, the very first chemist ever who happened to be a lady, which I think is I don't know, is pretty cool. So one thing that usually comes to mind when I think about perfume and history, which is all the time, I think about like, well, people didn't bathe as much, and so they were disgusting, so they had to cover that shit up, which is basically what we did in high school. Axe body spray to cover up BO, right? But it turns out that isn't. First of all, that's not accurate. That like people in antiquity were far more hygienic by modern standards than I think that we were led to believe. But there is in the 16th and 17th centuries, perfumes really were used by the wealthy to mask BO because they didn't bathe as frequently, and that's not always the case. But then, like, modern perfume is French and pops up around the Industrial Revolution time, and France and Italy sort of got a head start on being the nexus, the epicenter. The modern perfume comes from there. Something looking at perfume that I didn't realize, you know how like when you look at a bottle of perfume or cologne, it will say, like, some of them say perfume, some of them say eau de toilette, some say eau de cologne. I didn't realize that those terms actually mean something, that it's not just a fancy label or fancy, like they got to make it up. It has to do with the percentage of the extract compared to whatever it is suspended in. Like, most of them are in alcohol or oil, or some are in water, but the percentage of concentration, the strength of it, has to do with the name that it gets. So if it's perfume or parfum, that is, or pure perfume, that's up to like 40% the stinky shit. Esprit de parfum is a little bit less than that, up to 30. An eau de parfum or parfum de toilette is like 10 to 20%. Eau de toilette is 5 to 15%. Eau de cologne, or simply called cologne, is 3 to 8%. And eau fraîche is like 3% or less. And I thought it was cool because I really thought that those were just like bullshit terms that got thrown around, but they actually have meaning.
Yeah.
Applying fragrances, I think, is really interesting. You always see people put it behind their ear, on their neck, under armpits, all of these like places that we make heat. But there's at least one perfumer, Sophia Grossman, who said that behind the knees is the best place to put it, because then like that gets the warm part that needs to happen, but then it allows it to rise. Like the way that the fragrance spreads out as it rises through the air, propelled by the heat of your body, means that behind your knees is the best place to put it.
In your knee pit is not where I would expect to put.
Yeah.
I would see, like, if you're watching a movie or something, or like a fancy lady in a bathrobe, like, spray it in the air and walk through it.
Yeah. Like,
and you got to walk through it,
like,
you know, with your head up and a little bit of shoulder back and forth movement, like, kind of fancily. But
yeah. Then that's part of the like less is more thing, right? Like, you don't want to be all stinky.
God, the first time I put on cologne, my girlfriend bought me cologne in high school because. Apparently, and it was the same, like, her best friend also bought the same cologne for her boyfriend, and so like I got in his car, he was picking me up, and he was like, "Oh, you have the same smell," and then rolled down the windows. In retrospect, obviously put way too much on.
Yeah, sure. Well, you wanted to do it.
I wanted to have good old straight sex with their vagina.
Oh God!
Do you want me to tell you about stuff?
Sure. Did I want to say anything more in this part before I go to the other part? Nah, this is fine.
Well, speaking of those percentages that mark the different kind of fragrances, I'm going to talk about the masculinity and femininity, like the gender of fragrances.
Okay. Which is weird. It's a weird concept.
Isn't it? It's, yeah, I read a bunch of articles about it. Interestingly, the difference between men and women's scents is often not about the actual smell itself or the like oils that they're using. It's about the percentages. So you mentioned cologne, one of the lower ones, like that's more we often think of like, oh, it has to be this certain scent to be men's and this to be women's, but it's really more often about the percentages.
That's fucking interesting.
And then of course the marketing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The smells that we assign to it, like so many things, like you're saying, is basically cultural. So like one article that made sense to me of where these smells come from, or why we associate gender with them, is just what did you smell growing up? And so like, what did your dad or your mom smell like growing up? And that's not necessarily the origin, but it would make sense that it would be passed down each generation just by what you associate to your parents.
Yeah. The smell of gin, I think, is.
Oh, wow. You made it sad.
Love you, Mom.
Oh, that was your mom? That was my gender assumptions. No. I assume that was your dad.
Mom doesn't like gin. I don't think Dad drinks gin sometimes, but gross. But go ahead.
There was a small study. I couldn't find the original, so this is just referenced in many of the articles. A small study at Stockholm University where volunteers smelled different commercial scents and rated them on their masculinity or femininity. Unless it was a very floral or spicy scent, the rating that people gave them did not correspond to the gender that they marketed as. So, like, we don't even do a good job of saying, like, yes, this is distinctly manly or this is distinctly feminine.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Yeah.
Like, part of me just figures that there's
dude smell and it's woods and leather, and there's chick smell and it's flowers and
yeah. That's okay, great. Like, unless it was super floral or spicy, because floral was feminine and spicy was masculine.
Yeah.
Spicy. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
We love smelling like hot
Tabasco.
Sure. Yes. Sue Phillips, a fragrant expert and founder of Scenterprises, who make custom perfume.
That's
someone had to do it, I guess.
Great. Yeah.
The word perfume used to only be for women, but now you know how many men come to me and go, I want to make my own perfume? She didn't give the answer. So yes, I do want to know, but she didn't tell us. Yeah. So the word perfume is now becoming more generic. It doesn't apply to feminine anymore. So this is what?
I don't think that's true, but okay.
I mean, I would imagine I still associate it with female, but like becoming less so, like men being willing to come up to someone and ask for a custom perfume. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't mean it's like completely genderless in our minds now, but.
Right. Yeah. No, just the whole like cologne means men. Otherwise it's perfume and that means it's lady.
Yeah.
Like, I need to work on that.
Well, yeah.
I'm owning that, like, that's probably not a healthy dichotomy that has been put in my brain.
Well, yeah, but also, yeah, like that's the breakdown that we have like rigorously applied. So like it makes sense that that's what you associate it with. Unisex fragrances are very much growing. And the first one actually came out in 1994. It is CK1. Which was noted as the first unisex fragrance, and one article called it the defining scent of the 90s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem like, even though that was kind of the first one out.
The defining scent of the 90s was Zima.
It's only been last year that it seems like articles started mentioning only recently has unisex scents grown in kind of their share and consumer interest. The fragrance industry added 3 new categories in 2020 for universal scents at the Fragrance Foundation Awards.
Oh, man.
Which is a thing because we need to give awards to everything.
Can you imagine what that place smells like?
Oh, my God.
It's going to be just like the most confusing...
I'm just picturing them all. Yeah, they all put them in their knee pits, and you sit down, and it just wafts up and all combines until that could like combine into a deadly poison that kills everyone in the. But they have these awards that are men's fragrance, women's fragrance, which, you know, just like so many awards, we kind of why do we need the different categories? Who knows? That's just kind of how we've done it. But they added last year a universal three universal categories: universal fragrance of the year, in addition to men's and women's; universal packaging of the year,
Okay.
And innovative fragrance product of the year. So there are three now awards for it.
Okay.
So if big enough to be recognized by the fragrance, the well-known fragrance awards.
Yeah. That Stockholm thing that you were just talking about makes me wonder if anybody's ever tried taking like one batch of stinky perfume, putting it in two different packages with two different names and marketed it, the one to men and one to women, but it's the same shit.
Oh,
but then they get away with it, and
that has to, or I mean, it sounds like potentially just change the percentage of the fragrant oil in it, and you could probably do that. But I bet someone's in that pens for women. Like,
right.
No, this is definitely for, that seems highly plausible. And a lot of I tend to believe it. A lot of articles mentioned the newer generation caring less about gender divides, more about authenticity. Some of the smaller, the big companies provide unisex fragrances now, but there are smaller ones that are based on that and only offer those, and so less about trends and more authenticity, I would imagine, with some of those smaller companies that do that, and those are definitely growing in size too, and newer generation caring more about supporting those kind of businesses rather than the big ones that are just kind of, oh, this is a trend I got to do. I don't really care about the actual impact of it.
awards. Okay. Anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
That's also just like a podcast discussing fragrances. Like giving awards to fragrances is like, it's like watching I bet it's watching like a cooking show where you have to have someone who's like, ooh, this smells like I stepped on a bee in the middle of summer, and then there's a tree nearby and it just fell over, so it's freshly cut tree. Like, you'd have to have someone who's really good at describing shit to make anyone care about the Universal Men's Fragrant Packaging Award. Or
right.
whatever.
Yeah. And then just like with wine, I wonder how much of it is bullshit.
Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I get hints of lavender, and like, well, that's just water. So
yeah, I did think it was funny. I couldn't quite get there to make a joke, but fragrance notes are like a way to analyze the smells of perfumes, and it's base notes, middle notes, and top notes, and just top notes makes me like, that's
write in your joke here,
yeah.
and we'll read the best one on next year's episode.
Yeah, it's something about, I don't know, it's the feedback you give after he comes. I have some notes from my
top notes. Are you going to say stuff?
Yeah, sure, I'll say stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Why were you thinking so hard about it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the crazy ass weird shit that goes into perfumes.
Okay.
Ingredients. Because some of it is crazy.
Okay.
So a lot of it is like the stuff that you would expect, right? Like there's flowers and flower blossoms that get crushed up and you get the oil out of it that way or whatever. Fruits, apples, strawberries, cherries. Those are a lot of ingredients, like have some historical basis that then eventually we figure out how to make it without like crushing 4,000 pounds of cherries and extracting the oil. Like we've figured out how to just synthetically make the same thing. But there's like bark and fruits and leaves and twigs and resins. But the really good stuff, the stuff that we need to talk about, is the shit that comes from animals. Yeah. You have thoughts?
Oh, no, I just know, having watched the episode on Futurama and the episode from Bob's Burgers, I know of ambergris as a whale poop that you put in it.
Ambergris is whale poop, sort of. So
Yeah,
let's talk about that one. So sperm whales.
Hot.
Yeah. And only sperm whales.
Double hot.
Apparently not even all sperm whales, just a like small percentage of them make this literal shit. It's not literal shit,
no,
but it's like it's an oxidized fatty compound that comes out of their intestines. It comes out the same hole as the poo-poo, so it's not related.
Well, I mean, it's like if I shit out sperm, like it's coming out of the same hole,
right.
but it's not poop. It's still some dude's jizz. Like,
it's a solid, waxy, flammable substance. It's dull gray or black. It has a, quote, marine fecal odor and acquires a sweet, earthy scent as it ages.
Oh.
Right?
Aging, like... aging this sounds disgusting.
Well, part of the aging thing is that apparently this stuff comes out their butts in the ocean, and then God knows how long it's out there before somebody finds it or it lands on the shore and somebody comes across it. It can be out there literally for years.
Wow.
Just floating at the top because it's oily until just the thought of there being just cum bubbles floating in the ocean that just is really disgusting to me.
Cum bubbles?
Yeah.
Why is it cum now?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because they're sperm whales that came out of their butt.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So
do they make any fragrances out of sperm?
Not that I'm aware of.
That would be a authentic dude jizz smell. Someone wants to smell like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Dan?
Do you want to?
I'll be talking a little bit more in that sort of arena during the Patreon segment.
Wow.
Yes.
All right.
Anyway, this shit is difficult to find and is very rare and expensive, and they mostly use it not for the smell but in order to fix the scent. It something about the substance makes the smells of the other stuff in the formulation last longer. It has been mostly replaced by synthetic ambroxide. But the lumps come in various shapes and sizes and usually weigh from a half an ounce to 50 kilograms or more, 110 pounds of crap. Oh, God. Anyway,
This is one of those things if you're going to wear cologne or fragrances, sometimes you just don't want to know some of the details, like eating a hot dog or I'm guessing that that's just something you kind of you might learn and then you just ignore because you I would rather not really think about that as I spray this on my body.
Absolutely. Castoreum is one common one that at least initially was obtained from the odor sacs of the North American beaver.
You put beaver sacs in your
beaver sac goo, castoreum oil. Yeah. Castor oil.
Disgusting. Lesbians love it.
Right. You can really smell the beaver.
I love beaver goo.
Civet, also called civet musk, comes from the odor sacs of the civets, and which are not cats, apparently. Dan has very strong feelings about that.
What's a civet?
It's like a rodent-looking thing. They are in the family Viverridae, so they're related. They're related to mongooses.
But what do they look like?
Little varmints. They're like little cat-ish varmints.
Cats. Got it. Long cats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hyraceum, which is commonly known as Africa stone, which is the petrified excrement of the rock hyrax. So the hyrax is a medium-sized mammal.
Are they just finding the ones that humans don't care about to extract the goo from their whatever? Why are these all weird animals?
Yeah, right. If it was dried dog shit, then maybe we would have different feelings about it. But calling it the petrified excrement of the rock hyrax makes it sound like yummy. I don't know, but yeah. Honeycomb, that was less gross.
Okay.
But honeybees, make both beeswax and honey, and they are
fart out honey, and
they are useful.
Put that in her. Yeah.
Musk.
That's a little too on the nose for me.
Musk.
Yeah.
Well, so musk has sort of become a generic term for the scent is a musky scent, and we say musk for a bunch of things, but the original meaning of that word is specifically from the musk deer, Muscus musciferus, and it is a gland located between the genitals and umbilicus of the Himalayan male musk deer.
Wow, we just find the weirdest parts of these animals, and
yeah, but it's always the stinky parts, right? That's the thing. Perfume needs to smell, and there are lots of compounds that make animals smell the way they do that are useful to make more pleasant smells. Skunk spray and cat spray has been utilized for very similar reasons.
I've never been like out in the woods or like at a zoo and smelled the animals and thought, you know what? I want to douse my knee pit in that. You know,
Right,
like
yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, it's weird.
So I wanted to end with an article that I found on birdie.com, BYRDIE. It's the 6 most expensive perfume ingredients in the world.
Ooh.
So the one is jasmine. I don't know if you know what jasmine smells like or if you have a concept of that, but
Aladdin sure does.
jasmine is used in more than 80% of all women's perfumes. And there is a synthetic version of it, but actual pure, real, natural jasmine, it takes approximately 2,000 pounds of jasmine flowers to produce 1 pound of oil.
Wow.
And 8,000 jasmine flowers to yield 1/25th of an ounce of the absolute oil, which is the most concentrated. So it's $83 for an eighth of an ounce on a website called Mountain Herbs, which is... anyway, it's super ass expensive. Bulgarian rose oil is found in a lot of fragrances, but it's even more time intensive and expensive than jasmine. There's just a lot more supply, and there are a lot more roses in the universe, but apparently it takes 10,000 pounds of rose petals to make 1 pound of rose oil. There's a place in Bulgaria that makes 70% of the world's rose oil. And they've been picking these roses for more than 300 years. And there's a very short period of time from May to June where they have to get their jobs done in the dark before sunrise because something about the way that impacts the flowers. So anyway.
I think we should come up with our own custom scent that would be the fuck me hard daddy bouquet turned into a smell.
Fuck me daddy bouquet perfume.
Yeah.
Eau de toilette.
Yeah. It should smell a little bit like some flowers, a lot like outdoors, and like the smell of sweat and lack of oxygen.
Yes.
Like you can mix all that.
Yes. And once we've got the smell really dialed in, then we can make like candles that smell like that, and we can make poppers that smell like that, and we can make
it.
Yeah.
We could go to our friend at Great Expectations or whatever it was called, Centerprises. She makes custom perfumes and smells, so maybe we could create our own.
Down. Okay, almost done. There's orris, which is just like rose and jasmine. It takes a fuck ton of them to make it. It takes a ton of plant bulbs, iris plant bulbs that have been aged 2 to 5 years just to make 4 pounds of the oil.
Yeah, when I leave, because I never change the water in flowers that I buy ever, because that would be upkeep and work. But like, that smell of a flower that's been sitting there for too long is like such a distinctive smell.
Absolutely. Gross.
Yeah, I should just rub that dead flower into my knee pits and I'll just save myself a lot of money.
Yeah, and head to the bear bar, see what happens. Oud or ode.
Pollinate me, bears.
Ode comes from the wood of a wild tropical tree called the agar, but the agar tree has to become infected with a type of mold called Phaelophora parasitica, which causes the wood to produce ode, a dark, extremely fragrant resin. Apparently, only 2% of the trees produce it. So it's at one point its value was estimated to be 1.5 times the value of gold. But yeah, this specific tree has to get this specific kind of rot, and then that makes this goo that like turns. It's just so weird. Musk and ambergris we already talked about, which are the natural sources of that are musk deer penis, groin goo, and sperm whale sort of poop. So. Yeah. Anyway, that's just some of the really bizarre things that we put in our perfumes, and
that's so weird.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Do you? I'm going to talk a little bit more about musk, but I'm going to talk about man musk.
Great. Okay.
Do you wear any perfume or cologne or anything?
I have some. My ex-husband used to buy fragrances for me.
Because he wanted you to smell like those?
There's something very intimate about that, right? To say to somebody, I would like you to smell like this. There's something happening there. And but I don't, as a rule. Every once in a while I'll get like, when I'm feeling fancy, because to me it is a fancy thing, but mostly not. So I have a bunch of fragrances and I use them from time to time, but extremely rarely. Like one little bottle that Trevor got me has lasted like 10 years now or whatever. So how about you?
No, never.
Yeah. Do you even own any?
Only because someone, maybe it was Manscaped, like sent us a cologne that I think I smelled and liked it, but I spend so little time getting ready for anything. It's like, if I had extra time, maybe I should like take a shower, or maybe I should like floss, or there are lots of other things that I think our favorite Fagzag Doug asked me like what my like skincare or like eye care routine was at night, and I was like, I'd close them and then wait for them to open again in the morning. Nothing. Like there's nothing. Yeah. So no, I don't. I forget what kind of, like, I just have some like basic dude brand of deodorant.
Great.
That seems like it's like sport.
Yeah.
I don't know. It very much reminds me of like the deodorant that my dad always has, which is why I associate it with like being dude deodorant that has like kind of a specific smell. So I've had people say like, "Oh, you smell good," and it was this very awkward moment where a coworker like said this to me, a straight coworker, and like I was like, "Oh, I'm not wearing anything." And he's like, "Oh, like it's something like that's like a very awkward thing if like you smell good," and I'm like, I don't put anything on, and then it's like you just. And then I later realized, like, oh, it's probably my deodorant, and that's I made this uncomfortable. Like,
you didn't assume that you just like have a personal aroma, a pleasing scent.
Do you like scents on guys? What do you have do you care about what a guy smells like?
Yes, I care in that, like, I think the ideal is I smell nothing. Like if my nose is just not involved or assaulted in any way, then it's like that's baseline good.
Yeah.
There are fragrances that I like, and I always, it's kind of awkward to ask somebody, right? Like, what's that smell? Yeah. But there are some that I really like and that will get my attention, but then that's it. It's over, right? It's a very instantaneous sort of like, oh, he smells good.
Yeah.
And then I move on with my life, as opposed to like, I don't know, like I picture like the smells wafting off of a picnic basket that makes Yogi Bear go like swim through the air to get to the food. Like I imagine that's like how we think of perfume, both men and women, that like, I'm so great, they're going to come flocking to my dick.
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly how they're advertised.
Yeah. But that's not my experience. How about you?
I don't often, the same, like no smell is kind of the default, and I might smell, and I think so if you smell good, that's fine, but like a lot of it and constant seems like it might be too much or overwhelming. I'm going to talk a little bit about man musk. I just realized recently I'm very lucky in that there's a gym a block away from me. So when I'm on the apps, it's very useful to be like, hey, my line of questioning is always, oh, what are you working out, in hopes that biceps is one of them.
Sure. Yeah.
And recently I've had chatted with a couple guys, but one guy had ended up like working out for me, where I was like, oh, just come right over after the gym, like, and don't shower. And I was thinking, and it was like, I don't think it's specifically about the smell, but I like, it has to be part of it. Like, I think that's hot to go right from the gym and you're all like sweaty and like, all buff and arms and stuff. And so he let me touch his arms.
Great. Good for you.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think of it distinctly as wanting a certain thing, but I guess like it's kind of inherent to, sometimes I do.
It's interesting to me, a universe in which you're into somebody being sweaty and it's not about the smell, but it's about the liquid. That's weird to me.
Oh.
Like,
There's this dude that
not in a shamey kind of way. It's just like I've tried to. Oh my god, my straight friends have turned me onto this new thing of where like instead of doing like a 1 to 10 rating for somebody's attractiveness, you do a 4-point scale, and it's you rate somebody a 1 if you don't want to fuck them and don't understand why anybody would want to. 2 is I don't want to fuck them, but I see why other people might.
Yeah.
3 is I do want to fuck them, but I get it if somebody else doesn't want to. And 4 is I want to fuck that person. I don't understand why anybody wouldn't immediately be down. Anyway,
what are you rating this as?
So I don't know why I forget. I forget where I was going with that.
Sweat.
Yeah, sweat. Like sweat. Being into the smell is not so much for me, but I get it. Like somebody being into the scent of somebody's sweat. That's like a 2. I get it, but it's not for me necessarily. But not being into the smell, but still being into the sweat, I just kind of don't get it. It's like a 1-ish kind of a zone. Like
I mean, to me, like you never like after an athlete, like I don't know, works out or does some kind of sport and they're sweaty. That's not hot to you.
I kind of think like sweaty. Like sometimes when you're getting down, one or both of you start sweating.
Yeah.
I find that part kind of gross and distracting.
Oh,
like just
really?
the experience of being like all slippery and moist is I don't know.
People shouldn't hook up with me though. I sweat a bunch. I've had there's this regular like fuck buddy that I know like sweats my best position is just regular old missionary, so he's on top and he'll like apologize for sweating. I'm like, no, it's hot when you sweat onto me. Like I think that's very hot.
All right. I'm okay with being. It's where skin comes together that it bugs me, and I don't know what it is about it.
Which is difficult to avoid if you're having sex with someone.
Exactly.
Unless you're cucking.
And I'm gonna get these covers off of us too. Like some people like to fuck under the covers, and that's fine. I'm down with that. But like then, like once you start, like once it's warm enough that you're sweating, it's just like it's like a fucking Dutch oven in there. It's crazy. All right, go ahead.
I found out Dutch ovens are a real thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, that I already knew. It's like reindeer. Like, oh, right, they're actually real. We talked about gender fragrances, but is there anything? What gay associations do you have with fragrances?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know that I don't have the vocabulary to describe some of this, but there's definitely some fragrances that I presume that's a homosexual, and they I think tend to be like brighter, crisper smells. Like straight dudes are more like earthy, leathery, greasy. Yeah. But that gay dudes have this like sort of clean smell to them when they wear fragrances. I don't know what brands they are, what even the fucking right words are, but there's definitely I have some weird associative differences, but
I haven't thought about it. I probably do too. Like I can't come up with what I can't even like in my head think of what smell that would be, but there's probably smells that I assume of like being gay.
Yeah.
I also like anything that cares about your appearance or presentation or is upkeep of yourself tends to like fall a little bit more in the gayer category. But wearing I don't think I have, unlike skincare or hair care or other things, I think it could be a little bit gay to stereotype to like care about your scent or fragrance, but not like a huge one. Like to me, like it's not like, you know, if you smell like anything or wear cologne that you're immediately gay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you have the same like?
Although I will also say that any smell, any like artificial applied scent is automatically sort of femme. It, like there's definitely a feeling there.
Your stereotype is that it's gayer.
Well, then yeah. But that, I mean, it's obviously not. Like femme and mask is nothing to do with sexual orientation, but like there's still some associations there, right? That femme means gayer or something. But then that got me thinking about how, like, do you remember Stetson commercials? Stetson cologne for men, and it was like fucking cowboys and like roping, like riding a horse and doing like Western cowboy stuff. And then there was Stetson cologne and hats. And it seems like a whole effort contrived to like make smelling good seem mask.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I think like in commercials I've seen, you have to make it smell like the outdoors or have a super like big bearded dude to make it feel okay that some dude's trying to sell you something, or like, you know, I chop wood for a living, so I smell like wood, so that's fine, straight dude, you love wood, right?
Right. Yep. Totally. The
one I actually wrote down, do you remember the bod commercials?
Bod. I'm sure I do. But...
God, those were, I'm pretty sure they advertised a whole bunch on MTV, but it was always super jacked dudes, shirtless, doing something like playing basketball. I wonder if this is what started Sweat Interest. And it would like be this like heavy heartbeat, and at the end it would have all these like hot chicks looking at the shirtless dude, and they would go, "I want your bod." And
yeah.
Fragrances for like things for men.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so there's like a very much like underwear, like this kind of super sexual nature to these. And I even found on Reddit, I didn't end up doing like a full Reddit segment or anything, but someone wrote Bodman fragrance sprays made me gay. Anyone else remember these before movie trailers? Because apparently that was the thing too. Like, but there is like a very homoerotic nature to fragrance ads.
Yeah.
Like sex, I don't know why sex is so important for fragrance. Like you're selling this to say like you will get fucked if you wear this.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like you said, it's intimate. Like it must be some level of intimacy, I guess. But like,
yeah. And there's something about it also that is specifically designed to influence the way that people think about you or feel about you. Right. Yeah. And we use sex to sell all kinds of stuff like that, lifestyles and luxury goods, and like a whole bunch of it comes down to like, do this so people will fuck you.
Yeah. And I think I don't know how true it is about pheromones or smell getting you like sex, but we definitely have this idea that the smell is what is going to allure people. And all these commercials are like Axe body spray. Like it's their entire premise is like, you can be an average looking dude and you'll get fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. You know, I'm reminded too that when we did our episode about underwear a bajillion years ago, and we were talking about like, why are underwear ads so hot? Like, what are they're trying to get, like, aren't most dudes straight? And how is that going to help them want to buy underwear? And then somebody's like, it's their wives and girlfriends that are buying the shit for them. And I wonder how much of that is true in this space also, right? That fragrances are about sexy dudes doing sexy dude stuff so that straight girls will buy it for their menfolk.
That makes... I was thinking about this. Yes, you're right. It is the same conversation, like the same thought of, why do you need a hot dude in an ad other than like dudes being like, oh yeah, I want to look like that ripped shirtless dude. But like, okay, that makes sense that it might be women that would be more likely than other products to buy it for their... I talked about my very first cologne is from my girlfriend.
Yeah. And
thanks, Haley.
And my ex-husband bought fragrances for me. Like, I think, I wonder how much fragrance is given as a gift as opposed to like somebody buying it for themselves.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting data point.
Yeah, it would. Great. But we'll never know. Okay. Finally, but now, okay, man musk.
Oh, God.
This is from a 2020.
Okay, have we ever talked about the fact that cantaloupes are called muskmelons, and I think it's disgusting?
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, great. Back to your thing.
Well, no, why are they?
I have no idea, but it's a muskmelon.
I mean, they're not more smelly than other kinds of fruit.
Yeah. I mean, you smell them to make sure that they're ripe.
You do.
You smell a cantaloupe's butthole, and it tells you if it's ready to eat or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
All cantaloupes are muskmelons, but not all muskmelons are cantaloupes. Honeydew is also a muskmelon, for example.
Honeydew me. Okay, go ahead.
I hate, like the straight couples, like the idea is that the wife always makes lists for the husband and their like, honeydew list.
Yeah.
Oh, I just immediately what I thought of. I've been watching Modern Family, and there's like so much of this. Like they try to break the mold a little bit, but like the idea of the wife making a list of things the husband needs to do when he never does them, like always shows up. It's so stupid.
Yeah, just be a contributing member of the household, you asshole.
Why don't you each equally decide what needs to happen and like get it done? Anyway, GQ.
Straight guys, stop treating your female partners like they're your mom.
Yeah. And stop deciding what you do based on like the gender of the thing and more about what you're each good at and can contribute to. Anyway, okay.
We fixed it, Kyle.
GQ article from 2020 by Philip Picardi.
Oh, God.
Which is an annoying last name that came very close to getting into. Okay. The article is called "The Season's Hottest Scent is BO."
Okay. Okay.
So apparently that was a trend he wrote about, is this trend of your natural smell as being the desirable smell for gay men. And the factors that contribute to your natural smell include the kinds of foods you eat, the amount of stress you're under, your overall wellness. And so he talked to a bunch of gay dudes about this trend, whether they're into it or not or whatever. And a lot of men pointed to the Eagle as a place that that some eagles have specific rules around fragrances, and you're not allowed to wear any even deodorant, because the idea is like leather, natural odor, like kink, like all those are somehow connected, like in the gay world.
Yeah. Okay.
We've even when we go to Pride 48, there's a bar that we go to that Big Fatty tells us specifically, like, don't wear, like, it's the leather kind of bars where like natural smell is.
That bar is the Rawhide, which last time we were there was very disappointing, apparently.
Apparently a lot of people also pointed to Chicago gays. I don't know why, like maybe they're into.
Wow. Okay.
Chicago,
explain yourself.
I don't know. Maybe they're like sweatier than others, or it's harder to ship colognes to them, or I don't know. There's some reason that Chicago gays
too far from the ocean, can't do anything about it.
He talked about the context is very important. People that are even the people that are super into a natural smell as like a kink or even like a sexual thing, at work or out to dinner, like you don't want someone smelling like, that then. So having it be specifically in like clubs or hookups or like these certain scenarios make it really important. But yeah, that's as I mentioned, like realized I would have said before, like, oh, not at all. Like that is not important to me, non-issue. But I mean, I guess I've been indirectly kind of encouraging this. And so I would not like stick my head in someone's pits, and like, that's not my kind of jam. But I guess I do want some kind of like after workout smell. So I don't know. Maybe I'm into this more than I think.
Are you going to explore it?
No.
Great.
No, I'm still pretty indifferent towards it. So like, yeah, I think it's a lot more about the idea of like dude coming from the gym than the specific of I want it to smell like a thing. So, and I, will do my best or try to respect if I go to a place and not wear any deodorant, but I also feel very uncomfortable when I don't wear deodorant. Like that's like, I guess that's what they want. They want me to like have a smell, and that's the point. So I would, try to respect those, but I don't feel like I often find myself going into those kinds of spaces.
Yeah.
I don't know too much more about like the raw smelling dude thing, but
I wonder if any of it is like a dom sub dynamic of like, I smell like this because I don't care. I'm gonna like if you I don't know, I'm just hypothesizing at this point, but like there's a fuck you, I don't care kind of a thing there, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, great.
You have anything else?
Yeah, I sure do. I would like to talk to you. Well, so first of all, I was going to do but Chris Hagee on Have a Nice Gay for Wednesday Game Day often does a hey wait, is that for real thing. And I was going to try to come up with a bunch of perfumes and ask you if they're real or not. It got too difficult to do. But did you know that 50 Cent had a perfume?
Really?
Yeah.
Does it smell like coin?
I don't know. It's
smell like a quarter. And
then did you know there was an American Idol perfume?
Ew.
Right? Yeah.
Why does that gross me out?
Yeah, exactly.
What does American Idol smell like?
Exactly. Tennis star Andy Roddick had a perfume.
I hope that has a sweat in it.
But what I really want to talk to you about is Cumming. So, known bisexual Scottish actor Alan Cumming.
Oh,
had
known bisexual. He was very visible recently for the one day out of year that we give bisexuals.
Had a fragrance, a whole line of stuff, not just fragrance, but called Cumming. It was launched in 2004. His name is spelled that way, Cumming.
Incredible.
And yeah, it's fantastic. So, Cumming by Alan Cumming is an aromatic fougere fragrance for men. The designed by Christopher Brogius, who is the nose behind Demeter Perfumes. And so Alan Cumming claims... Oh, so first of all, the fragrance is classic.
Cumming and Broseph are partnered up for this?
Yep.
Man.
It says, quote, "This fragrance is classic, similar to recognizable and strong classic perfumes from the past, but at the same time sassy and modern."
Those are two... That's the stupidest sentence.
Absolutely.
That's so dumb.
Absolutely. I like...
It's old but modern.
Alan Cumming claims, quote, "The longer you wear it and the more you sweat, Cumming gets deeper and sexier." It is... the base notes are leather, peat fire, Highland mud, burned rubber, and white truffle, all sensual and warm like a wool blanket.
It smells like a car burning outside your door. That's great. That you just topped off with some white truffle.
Smells like a dumpster fire. The heart notes are sharp and tempting with cigar, heather, fir, and rubber. The top notes complete the fragrance with fresh, spiced notes of bergamot, black pepper, pine, and whiskey.
Man, I'm turned on by the image of the dude I'm creating in my mind that wears this.
Yes, I will show
some bisexual cigar smoking whiskey drinking dude that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just read. There's a video. There's a commercial. It's like a long format commercial. It's like 90 seconds, and I'll show you it. And maybe actually we should just watch it, and then you can pull the clip from the end. Or edit it however you want to, but here it is. Oh, yeah, it's age restricted. That should tell you something.
Cumming is sexy, smoky, manly. You get laid when you wear it. What is sexy? Well, it changes all the time. I think sexy is just being comfortable with yourself.
Shame's not sexy. Shame should not exist.
People are always going to try and change you and make you conform, and you are the most interesting thing about yourself.
I think it's fun to know what's important. Who loves you, what you love, who you love.
I'm not going to change for anyone, because at the end of the day, it's your essence that matters. I'm coming.
He says, "I'm coming," and then smirks and puts the bottle up to the camera.
I think less of him because of that. Well, I actively like him less right now.
One of the comments was, "I can think of nothing. I could think of nothing that would make me want to buy something less than Alan Cumming naked."
He's a good-looking dude. He has makeup on, which I think looks cute, like around his eyes. But it looks like the beginning of a porn right before the producer convinces him to suck his dick. Like it's he's trying to promote this authenticity, and he doesn't look. He looks like he's trying so hard to be. I'm so natural. The best part about you is when you're you, because you're the youest you ever. And you're like, talk like a person and just I don't know. I do.
Tell me about your stinky shit, Alan Cumming.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of pit shots on purpose. Yeah, that was weird.
So he specifically talks about his name in some of this. This is on alancumming.com. He said, after 40 years of bad jokes about it, it feels great to have been able to turn the tables and make it work for me. And I just love that we've been able to create something that people feel good about wearing and also get the wit and satire behind it. I love that we're making the world feel sexy. And
We should do this with your name. Like, we should make a shirt that's just, I like Johnson.
Yeah.
Or so, you know, like how are you going to capitalize on your name? Just like Cumming is Cumming.
Yeah. Maybe we can get Alan Cumming to do it like a Cumming Johnson thing. That would be fun. This is the last thing on his website that I'll read real quick. He says, "I like Cumming. There's a bunch of products. Remember that. I like Cumming. I love washing my hands with a bar of soap that has my name on it, and it's called Cumming in a Bar. I love showering with Cumming Clean and scrubbing with Cumming Off Buff and smearing myself in Cumming All Over. There's a lotion called Cumming All Over." Yeah, I once when I was doing the seagull, I reached up to get something from a shelf in my dressing room, and a bottle of Cumming fell and just missed my head. I thought it would be hilarious to have been killed by a bottle of my own signature fragrance. Anyway, yeah, that's Alan Cumming's fragrance line, Cumming.
Wow, and spell Cumming is
spell Cumming.
Could have actually done that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else like gay or this is. I think an interesting, because there are stereotypes around smells and caring about yourself and looking good, but to me they're not super strong stereotypes. And there's like sexualized ads and gender, like cultural gender things that come across. But I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed. Surely we did.
I'm sure we did. Yeah.
It is worth mentioning that a second cologne by the duo of Alan Cumming and his nose was released called Second Coming.
Great. Amazing.
That's really good.
That's fantastic.
And some of the, I didn't mention, like the over sexualized, like naked people, you know, wear this to get fucked. Like some of the newer companies that are the ones that are unisex, that are, you know, basically like smaller companies are using different sexualized ways. So I saw something written about like using more like you would sell a candle, like selling this kind of either comfort or aroma or look or, you know, feeling rather than sex, which I think is kind of nice, probably.
Yeah.
What's fragrances?
Yeah. Did we do it?
Yeah.
We smell great.
We smell. When we sit in this room without air conditioning or any kind of fan, the smell, I guess, depending on who you are, gets worse and worse or better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, you want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our Gayest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest, but first, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
Our social media is at Gayish Podcast. We are on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and we have a Discord server and, you know, good shit like that.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. And hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
We got some shit.
Can we do a couple programming things before we open shit?
Sure, yeah, let's do. So, go ahead.
Fucking Dan was on the Fruit Bowl podcast. We listened to it a while back for one of our episodes, but the actual interview just came out. So look up the Fruit Bowl podcast and you can hear more from fucking Dan.
Yeah, on Fruit Bowl. With fucking Dan. The podcast.
Okay,
I don't know. Okay, great. The other thing is, it is almost our 250th episode, which is insane to me, crazy town. But usually we plan on doing it again. We do a Q&A session for our episodes that are multiples of 50. We are going to be doing it on Sunday, October the 17th. At 2 p.m. Pacific. It will be a live streamed event for our happy 250. So if you have cues that you want us to please get them into us by Friday, October the 15th. You can add us. You can DM us. If you want them to be a secret until the day of the show, you can email them to Dan at gayishdan@gmail.com. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. If you're a Patreon member, we'll also make a post there so that people can post there. And we like to give our Patreon members a little bit of a priority. If you're giving us money, you can ask us shit that we'll answer. So let us know if you're a Patreon member when you send it in.
Yep. Absolutely. Please do. Now, do you want to open stuff?
Yeah, let's open stuff.
Okay, great.
now.
First,
give me things.
oh God, how do I do this? Our Gap Bridger Anonymous. I already opened mine. But I think that one's for you, and that was your. The wrapping is adorable.
And very good wrapping.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that yours are likely similar, but
It feels similar.
mine is a rainbow spoon that says "Fork you, spoon me."
Oh, I got Kyle's Nutella spoon. It's this. Let me open it again. Great noises for you all to hear on your. What?
Mine says serial killer. Get it? Serial? CEREAL. That's so good.
And they're like rainbow shiny, and this is the sizes. You got me a little mini Nutella spoon. I need bigger than average for my Nutella spoon, Mike. You went the wrong direction.
Sorry.
So big. That's very cute and very sweet that Anonymous got things very well tailored to our personalities. Dan, did you already put it in your mouth?
No, on my nose.
Oh, okay.
All right, this is a package that is from Joe in Dallas, Texas, and it says, "Have producer extraordinaire fucking Dan open
Wow.
this."
Okay. It's a yellow card. It says, just roll with it on the inside of the envelope. Oh. And there's an eye roll emoji. I think it's a patch. Yeah, it's a patch.
Oh, cool.
And then remove patch, attach to something cool. Show off to everyone around you. Do not machine wash. All right. It says, "Hi, guys," or however you choose to identify. Just a little bit of happy and fun for you boys. Thanks for all you do. Love, Joe in Dallas.
Aw.
So much underwear,
Wow.
and I'm terrified. This is for Quiz Daddy Chris.
Oh.
Yeah, I know why you're sending this to him. Okay.
Is he hoping for a picture with it on?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he
Alt
is.
type picture.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe.
Thanks.
And
And next week we'll be recording just wearing these.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, who wants the patch, by the way?
You do.
I do.
yeah. Okay. Isn't that for you?
I didn't want to assume.
Last but not least, this one is from Logan Cheshire of Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, that was a note that I was just about to throw away.
Hi, guys. My name is Logan, and I'm a non-binary trans guy. I've been listening to your show for a couple of years, and it means a lot to me how supportive you are of the queer community. I have an Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/bunny-nose-scents, where I sell hand-blended perfume oils.
What?
I made these 5 with you all in mind: Diatonic Gallantry, Cherry Birch, Whiskey Barrel Planter, and Howl. While I believe that smiling nice is for everyone and that scents don't have a gender, the stereotype notes for these blends range from neutral to traditionally masculine. The smaller sizes are gourmand notes for spiced cherry wine and holiday cake, and traditionally feminine for flower picking and sugared roses. I hope you enjoy them. Logan Cheshire, he, they. P.S. Apologies for the handwritten labels. My printer bought the farm, and I can't afford a new one right now. P.P.S. It's okay to use my name on the air. Logan, I swear to God, we did not plan this. I literally had no idea what was in this envelope. This is crazy good timing.
Opened up the first one, and it's how, if you heard the Patreon segment, you'll know a little bit more about werewolf balls. This seems like the closest.
What a crazy coincidence.
Wow.
Crazy coincidence. Thanks, Logan.
Thanks. Maybe I will have to actually try on some.
I have Howl.
That would be the meanest thing. If, like,
I do want to smell it before you take it over forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe we can do it later.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're starting to, for Patreon members, post us when we open shit, post that on Patreon. So if you have access to the video, check that out.
Can we say the Etsy store one more time?
Yeah, that's a good plan. Yeah, absolutely.
Bunny Nose Scents?
It is etsy.com/shop/bunny nose scents. BUNNYNOSESCENTS.
Yeah. Buy some stuff from them and help that new printer get bought.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, I'm going to stop the video.
I should hold things up and get used to vanning these. Okay.
All right. Okie doke.
Gayest and straightest?
Let's do our gayest and straightest. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Well, the gayest thing about me this week is I've had a kind of fucked up back for a while now. I've bitched about it enough, I'm sure. But I have a physical therapist, and I went to the chiropractor for the first time last week, which I don't really believe in, but I went, and it actually was amazing. Anyway, both my physical therapist and my chiropractor in the same week mentioned that I have a really tight pelvic floor, which then made me wonder if to fix my back, I just need to bottom more.
I think you need to give birth a little more.
Like, just loosen that shit up. Rail me until I'm better.
That should be my motto. You know, my mental health has been challenging. Rail me till I feel better.
The straightest thing about me this week is actually a tie. The first is I didn't do laundry for like 2 weeks, and I wore a Seahawks shirt to work, and my boss called me out on it. He's like, oh, you know how we feel about Seahawks fans, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, this is the straightest shit that's ever happened to me.
Last, our Yakima Pride show, people were like, oh, I forgot it's the Seahawks game. And I was like, does that matter? Does that affect our crowd? I don't know. I don't know to what degree that affected people, but like,
yeah. The tie is I took a day off of keto yesterday, so it was pizza and beer and Chinese food and nonstop Star Trek, and I didn't put on pants. It was fucking fantastic.
That sounds incredible. Now that I got this new Nutella spoon, maybe I don't know. My gayest is I bought a bunch of clothes for fucking Doug's wedding. That's not his.
Doug, your favorite fag sex.
Favorite fucking fag sex. Doug's wedding. One item that I bought because I needed shoes that would work well for being in Hawaii. I bought Birkenstocks.
Lesbian.
So that's my lesbianist thing of the week. Maybe of all my life. I've never rented a U-Haul, so it has to be that. The straightest is that I think these like gays just moved to my floor, and so like I'm walking in from like taking Reynolds out for a walk and wearing probably the same sweater and like gym shorts that I wear all the time, and like being all trash, and they're like dressed up and like buttoned down, and they're all skinny and young and hot, and I'm just like, ugh, gay moving into the floor is like very annoying.
Yeah. Should we take him out?
Yeah.
That could be our straightest. We can hate crime.
Murdering the gay dude on my floor. Or I'm going to like fatten him up so that I feel less bad about myself. I'm going to leave a bunch of delicious like pumpkin spice shit. He seems like someone who'd like pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
You know, like hot gay dudes like that shit. Anyway.
They wake up every morning, there's a PSL outside their door.
Yeah.
A
extra
grande,
cream.
a venti.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Great. So the listeners, Gayest and Straightest this week, actually came to us from email. Feel free to email us your whatever you want to, balls included, to gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
I don't want to see your balls. Balls do nothing for me. So sending me your balls through email is that's Mike's call out, not mine.
Hi, Mike, Kyle, and fucking Dan. Jeff from Denver here. Thought I'd give it a shot with my gayest and straightest of the week. My straightest is this past Sunday was the Denver Broncos opener, and also the men's final of the U.S. Open Tennis Championship between Djokovic and Medvedev. So I sat in my living room in full home team gear, shirt, socks, lounge pants, and a necktie, all jocked out, flipping back and forth between football and tennis. My gayest is definitely while I was watching the tennis match thinking how lucky Daniil Medvedev's wife is because he's tall and lanky and looks like he smells like vodka and cigars and just throws some hot, angry Russian dick. Oh my God, yes. Woof, daddy. Tongue out emoji. Thanks. You guys are awesome. Hope this made you smile. Jeff.
I was getting gay vibes when you were talking. Maybe I just, because I'm into dude sports, that attire gave me some gay vibes, but I think that's a personal preference.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, in case this helps you with your tennis viewing, Medved is Russian for bear.
Oh, interesting.
It's not, but I thought I'd share in case that makes it hotter.
Yeah. That's it?
That's it. This has been Gayish. A special thank you to that chemist lady who I talked about.
Special thank you to Tom Spee for requesting this episode.
Yeah, this is your fault.
This is your fault. We've got some more user requested. Remember, at the highest level, not only do you get to pick your own episode, but you also get to vote on episodes once a month. So we got a tight, very tight, a Kyle's Butthole style tight race coming up. And also other Patreon members I want to thank are Super Gap Bridgers, Forrest Nail, Patrick Martin Anonymous, Explosive Lasagna, Christopher Farrell, Jamie Pugh, Kevin Henderson, Tipsy McStumbles, Thomas B. Hey, Thomas B. again. Dusty Sands, Chris Cacciatorian, Jerome York, and Cian and Javi.
That's it from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you.
Bye.
Guys, you know that lump we found on the beach?
My name's Gene.
No, the smelly lump.
His name's Gene!
The other lump. It's called ambergris.
Ambergris, a.k.a. beach garbage.
And it comes from sperm whales. When a whale eats a squid, the sharp squid beak may irritate the whale's digestive system.
Hey, whale, baby, stop eating sharp squid beak! What are you trying to do?
When that happens, the whale's stomach coats the squid beak in a waxy substance that the whale then passes.
Passes to who? Like in sports? Boring whale sports.
I think passes means poops out.
Go on.
Fun fact, ambergris is used in the production of high-end perfumes.
People pay to wear whale poop?
Wake up, Louise. People wear all sorts of animal poops we don't even know about.